Is, I believe, joining us live from the Railway Bhavan. Akash, just tell our audiences, Ashwini Vaishnav, all right, I just want to tell our audiences live visuals right now on your screens of the External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar arriving once again, beginning right at the start of another term as the External Affairs Minister. Remember, S Jaishankar through yesterday, this was less of a surprise because yesterday he met all of the senior dignitaries who'd arrived for the Prime Minister's swearing in. So of the many names, as we were talking to our reporters, this was one name where our reporters seemed quite sure that Jaishankar would be very much continuing as the External Affairs Minister. Remember, over the last few years, in many of the controversial questions that have been asked of the External Affairs Minister. So, for example, you remember when the Ukraine war broke out, he was very clear in voicing his stance, in voicing where India stood, and also making the important point at that time. You remember there was the question of India continuing to take Russian oil. So making that nuanced point that India had the ability to choose where it wanted to stand, the credit for that was very much given to Dr. S Jaishankar at the time. So his ability to walk that middle line, that new character that the BJP has said it wants to give India on the global stage, which is a voice, as you've seen. They've been very particular that they don't want to walk the middle line in the way that they've seen previous governments do it, which is without being vocal. They want to be vociferous. This is something that S. Jaishankar has said in multiple interviews. We're seeing once again the Prime Minister and the BJP restore their faith in him. Remember, S. Jaishankar is a career diplomat. So we'll just go over to our colleague Abhishek to understand a little bit more. But as we were just telling you, let's go over to our colleague Abhishek to give us more context on this. Abhishek, as we were just telling our audiences, for the External Affairs Minister, he stands right now at the start of one more term as the External Affairs Minister of the country. Just tell us, Abhishek, as we watch these visuals, he's someone who's been a career diplomat, a career civil servant before making it to this position. Just tell our audiences, Abhishek, a little bit more about what he got to this position in the last few years. What was it that S. Jaishankar in particular, his leadership personified for the External Affairs Ministry?
Well, Toya, as a career diplomat of, with over 4 decades of experience, Jaishankar has clearly been at the forefront of India's foreign policy. And the last 5 years, what I would see as a change in the foreign policy has been a very strong commentary, a very strong stance on the issues that West used to, in a way, coerce or intimidate India. To those issues, Jaishankar has come out very clearly, and he has tried to show them mirror. The issue of Russia-Ukraine conflict, India did not, succumb to the pressure of West, and they continue to show them the mirror that their hypocrisy is something that they should deal with, and they should not put those hypocrisy on the countries like India, which has their own interests and own concerns, and that can only be addressed with having a balanced relationship with West, with Russia and other allies partner. We have seen that happening in condition with Iran also. India has maintained a very good friendly relationship with Iran. Also, the issue of cross-border terrorism, which India has been dealing with Pakistan for decades now. As Jaishankar was very clear when he said that during the day trade and the night terrorism is something that India will not accept, and unless and until there is a very strong and determined approach from Pakistan that they are going to act against cross-border terrorism or the non-state actors, there cannot be any trade relation or any other vertical or bilateral relationship. On the issue of China, we have also seen India has been very clearly, describing its own position, saying that Chinese stance or Chinese perspective of pushing the entire border conflict in a position and not clearly understanding that it does impact other verticals of bilateral relationship is not something that India will accept, and India is not going to accept Chinese coercion and Chinese in a way convincing, and that is where India's position with China has been. And since Galwan clash of 2020, we have seen continued hardened stance of India, and it is not bending backward. It has continued to say that unless and until peace and tranquility returns to the border areas, there cannot be a normal bilateral relationship with China. So clearly these 3-4 verticals are something that, as Jaishankar has been very much talking about, he has been explaining to the world, and in the last 4 or 5 years at least, we have seen India's foreign policy arrival at a scene where it has made its point of view clearly understood to the world, and it is not intimidated, or it is not being coerced by the Western or other global pressures.
Okay, just stay with us, please, Abhishek. We'll just ask you to remain with us. Abhishek is joining us from outside the Ministry of External Affairs. Let's go over now to our colleague Akash Sharma, who's outside the Railway Bhavan right now. Akash, just tell our audiences, Ashwini Vaishnav remaining in the position of Railway Minister. And this is when we told our audiences in the days previously that this seemed to be a berth that the JDU was very openly vying for. We at multiple points said that this was one of the many ministries. They were eyeing 3. This was one of the many ministries they seem to want. I want to ask you, Akash, for Ashwini Vaishnav, it's not exactly been smooth sailing. Our audiences will remember, for example, in 2023, the Odisha train collision. So many big incidents. But in him being put back in this position, for the BJP, it's clearly a vote of confidence in how he handled it.
Right. So, Toya, first of all, you see, all the top ministers have been retained by the BJP, or I should say the NDA government as of now. And Ashwini Vaishnav, as you rightly mentioned, the kind of affiliation that the coalition partners have, for example, JDU with Rail Ministry and also the other parties. So, it was assumed that, this ministry or this portfolio will go to someone else. But at this point in time, Rail Minister will be Ashwini Vaishnav. This has been confirmed yesterday. And in some time from now, we are expecting Ashwini Vaishnav. I'll show you some of the preparations here in the ministry. This is the floor where he'll be coming. These are the petals. This is the sort of welcome gesture. In fact, we have been told that from these stairs only Ashwini Vaishnav will come in some time from now. 8:20 is what the time is. At that point in time, we will be seeing minister coming and taking over as the rail minister once again. When we talk about railway, so yes, as you rightly mentioned, there were, multiple incidents where, in terms of accidents, in terms of, in fact, other things also, we saw that how a lot happened in the, railways, in rail ministry or in these zones, in different zones. But at this point in time, the confidence that we talk about, in fact, he has been given 2 additional ministries. So in total, he has got total 3 ministries at this point in time. While we talk about developments in railways, so, a lot many things. Vande Bharat trains we saw. In fact, sleeper version of Vande Bharat is what we are expecting in some days from now. We know that how Chenab Bridge is very much there, and in the next 100 days, we are expecting the inauguration of that particular bridge. So a number of things are there. And this is also a reason why people say that there were so many projects that, Modi government, when we talk about Modi government, so there are a number of projects that you cannot manage, to get delayed, and that is the reason why Ashwini Vaishnav has been given a chance once again, and in some time from now he'll be coming to this ministry, will be taking over. Also, as far as IT ministry and IB ministry are concerned, so after that he'll be going to these 2 ministries and will take over there.
Okay, Akash, thank you. As you were pointing out a little earlier, several key developments taking place in the Railway Ministry. And we know it's a ministry and an area that is close to the Prime Minister's heart. We've talked multiple times about the Vande Bharat. We'll just very quickly walk you through more reactions. Then we'll go back to our reporters who continue to bring us their expertise.
मैं भाग्यशाली हूँ कि मुझे मध्य प्रदेश के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री और अभी आज जिनको दायित्व मिला कृषि मंत्री, कैबिनेट मंत्री, उनके सानिध्य में मुझे काम करने का मुझे अवसर मिला है.
And the responsibility of leading the Ministry of External Affairs. You all know that in the last term, this ministry actually performed exceptionally well. It rose to many challenges. We delivered where the G20 presidency was concerned. We took on the challenges of COVID, including Vande Bharat mission and vaccine Maitri supplies. We also were the center of crucial operations like Operation Ganga and Operation Kaveri. So quite apart from the normal diplomacy, I think I've really deemed it a matter of great satisfaction that in the last decade, this ministry under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has become a very people-centric ministry. You can see that in terms of our improved passport services, in terms of the community welfare fund support that we give to Indians abroad, in terms of how we respond to different needs of Indians when they leave our shores or preparing to leave our shores, and the manner in which we work